All right, guys, 800 Dow points in just 2 trading sessions. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a professional chart display to transform your charts so that you can nail the exact highs and the exact lows for these monster sell-offs and these monster rallies while doing what we always do, which is sticking to the morning session only and trading without any indicators at all. Let's do this.
Everybody grew to the music. Everybody jam.
All right, what's up, guys? It's Mark here at Dyno Trading. This past week was one for the record books, right? For those of you guys that were trading every day this week, it almost didn't even matter what instrument you traded, whether you traded forex, futures, or stocks. The concept of trend trading really proved its worth, this week. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, right? Every time I do these videos, I try to educate you on just one thing, okay? And that is, for those of you that are new, for those of you that are beginners, for those of you that are struggling, because let's be honest, that's the majority of traders out there, right? 95% of traders out there just don't get it, or they're trying to get it. And most of them never get it, right? So what you got to understand about finding long-term success in trading, okay, it's going to come down to 2 things. Number one, you have to trade volatile markets and volatility in general, okay? There's just no way to get around it, okay? And I know the word volatility and the word volatile scares people, but at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're trying to capture home runs, right? You're not looking for singles, you're not looking for doubles, you're looking for big, massive, fat winners, okay? Every weekend, what all of you guys should do is block off some time, Saturday or Sunday, and just mark up your charts and power through the previous 5 trading session. Evaluate your successes, but also evaluate your mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and figure out what you can do better the next week compared to the previous week. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, first piece of business, we're going to transform this bullshit chart, all right? So with one click of my mouse, I'm going to take this chart right here, and I'm going to make it look like this, all right? This is the Dyno Bars professional chart display, and for those of you that are brand new to trend trading, what it does is it takes bullshit charts like this, runs a mathematical algorithm on it, and outputs a display like this so that you can spot the starting point of trends like this bar, like this bar, like this bar, and figure out what direction to trade in, right? And don't forget, guys, everything that we take a look at, we are only looking at the morning session. I talk to so many people who sit around and stare at the screen for hours, like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Me personally, I don't have time for that. I have found that the best trading opportunities usually only happen in the morning session, and so I like to limit my screen time to a max of 3 to 4 hours a day. Now, you guys are free to do whatever you want. I'm just telling you this is the professional approach, okay? Usually, more often than not, you're going to see massive, massive moves happen just in the morning session, okay? So let's get into it. Short signal, 8:47 a.m. Long signal, 8:31 a.m. the following day. No indicators at all. So what do? We want to grab our highs. We want to grab our lows. We want to grab our highs. We want to grab our lows. Now, I just want to reiterate, guys, that this is a 2-chart system, all right? Don't forget, the Dyno Bars, all it does is tells you the big picture on what's happening in your market. Right? In order to actually enter a potential trade, place your stop, let your winners run, you got to jump over to a micro time frame chart, which is what I've called the T-bar chart. Okay? In fact, let's just go ahead and put a label on here. This is the T-bars chart. Okay? And so, just so we're clear, all right, this signal that printed right here is drawn on the chart as a red stripe like this, okay? So basically, when you get this red bar all you're doing is you're looking for short selling opportunities. You're a seller, okay? And same thing on the green bars. Whenever you see these green bars, you're a buyer. So let's take a look at this short signal and the retracement on the first session, okay? So jump over to the T-bars chart. Let's really zoom in here for you guys so you can see this crystal clear, all right? Let's also go ahead and throw in the automated trend lines shorts just so we can see those pivot points drawn on the T-bar chart. All right, there we go. So let's just recap where we are, okay? When you're on the lookout for short selling opportunities, you're waiting for price to come back up, right? You're waiting for a bit of a rally so that you can draw your trend lines properly and take really good entries and, of course, place really tight stops. Okay, so the method that I like is I always like draw conservative trend lines. What that means is we want to wait for the market to get a little bit weak before we start looking for shorts, right? Because otherwise what you're doing is you're trying to short a rising market, right? So as an example, all of these pivot points here, right? These are all rising pivot points. The very first falling pivot point is this one right here. Let's put an arrow on it, okay? Same thing over here. Again, the market's rallying, and then the pivot point gets a little bit weak here. Here's a falling pivot point right there. So if all you did was connect this trend line there and this trend line there, okay, and you took both of those entries to the short side, okay, can you tell me how awesome this is, right, when you compare it to this bullshit right here? So you kind of get an idea of how an entire complete trading system can come together using nothing more than a very simplistic chart style, right? So here would be an entry to the short side, and here would be another potential entry to the short side. Why is that? Because this is where the trend line breaks to the downside, and on our first trade, you get stopped out. That's going to happen. The market rallies right back, but on this second trade, if I squish this in, look what happens. Almost 500 points straight down in like 1 hour. Maybe less than an hour, actually. You guys get what I'm saying? Is this making sense to you guys, the power of trend lines? I hope it is, okay? Let's do the same thing with this long signal here on the next session, okay? So let's go ahead and fast forward on our T-bar chart, okay? We're looking for a green. All right, there's the green. All right, there it is. And now let's just go ahead and remove the shorts, automated trend lines, and throw in the longs so we can see the long pivot points. Okay, so these are the long pivot points, and remember, we're looking to draw a trend line in this fashion now because we're looking for the price to break and penetrate to the upside like this, right? We're looking for price to go up. So everything to the right of this green line, we're looking for rising top pivot points, and we want to connect those pivot points to form a trend line. So here's the first rising pivot point, right? Now it's a pretty high pivot point, so we got to go back and find something higher than that in order to draw the trend line, right? So here's one over here. So here's my first anchor, anchor 1, and I'm going to connect it here, just like that, okay? And if we see how this thing played out, I mean, Jesus Christ, look at this thing. 300 points straight up. This was the trend line very early in the session. I mean, this is how it's done. And if this was too early for you, you could pretty much select any rising pivot point, right? Here's a rising pivot point right here. So if you wanted to use this and kind of angle it down, here's another one. You could angle it down like this. I mean, you can basically pick any rising pivot point that you want because, guys, in a rising market, the trend's going to do the heavy lifting for you. Okay? That's how you're able to pinpoint exact lows to the exact tick for huge gains, right? So whenever we see charts like this, what I like to call professional charts, pro charts, everything that I just showed you in this little box here, all right, on the Dyno bars chart, physically took place inside the T-bar chart, right? This little box right here is where all the action happens. The bulls and the bears are fighting it out. And when you're looking at your master chart, this trend bar right here is telling you that the bulls are probably going to win, so you'd better be a buyer, right? Shame on you if you tried to short or sell this massive rally. You basically got your face ripped off, right? This is the power of trend trading. You guys have heard me say this before. There's no force on earth that can stop a trend. Guys, this is how it's done. I want you to really think about this, all right? There's only 3 months left in the year. But guess what? The fourth quarter of every year is usually the best order to trade. That's just the reality. Okay, September, October, November, even December, I think we're going to see huge sell-offs and we're going to see massive rallies and we're going to see it daily. Okay, so get off the sidelines, take control of your trading, and learn how the pros trade a trend. Okay, because guys, as you can see from this chart, okay, where we nail the exact sell-off and we nail the exact rally and we do it without any indicators at all, this particular type of chart display is what I think is going to help take people to the next level. Okay, guys, thanks for watching this video. See you on the next trade.